What happens when a legitimate demand for justice is taken over by political groups, professional agitators, and organizations pursuing entirely unrelated agendas? What does democratic dissent cease to be a movement for reform and begin to resemble an organized attempt to create confrontation? And while the streets of the national capital remain occupied by protesters, what reforms are actually being undertaken to protect the future of Bharat's students? Namaste, I am Sonam and you are watching Organiser This Week. This week's issue examines a question that goes far beyond the controversy surrounding a leaked examination paper. Our cover story this week is titled Education Reforms versus Ideological Confrontation. The issue also brings you an on-ground investigation from Jantar Mantar, analyzes the changing character of political protest, examines the role of education in building a Viksit Bharat, revisits Bharat's indigenous Gurukula tradition, celebrates the sacred Sindhu river, and explores the retreat of the United States from its traditional role as a guarantor of global security. We also bring you a report on the Sindhu Darshan Yatra, the resolutions adopted by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, important developments from across the country, and a heartfelt tribute to senior journalist Shri Alok Goswami. So let us begin with the editorial. In the editorial titled Protest Pattern and Prognosis, Organiser Editor Shri Prafulla Ketkar argues that the paper leak issue is genuine and that students have every democratic right to seek accountability. The NEET paper leak caused immense anxiety to more than 20 lakh medical aspirants competing for approximately 1.3 lakh MBBS seats. Those responsible for compromising the examination process must face punishment, and the examination system itself requires urgent reform. However, the editorial asks whether the protest remained limited to these legitimate concerns. The agitation at Jantar Mantar was launched in the name of students, but it soon attracted familiar political activists, left organizations, Islamist voices, and groups associated with earlier anti-government movements. Instead of maintaining a disciplined focus on examination reforms, the platform began hosting slogans against Bharat, Hindu Dharma, democratic institution, and even the armed forces. References were repeatedly made to create a Nepal-like situation in Bharat. The burning of parliament and the Prime Minister's residence in Nepal was invoked as an example of the kind of political upheaval that protesters allegedly wanted to replicate. The principal cover story, Education Reforms versus Ideological Confrontation, is written by columnist Pranay Kumar. The article begins by saying that dissent is an indispensable part of democracy. When paper leaks, impersonation, or other irregularities occur, students and families are justified in demanding a transparent inquiry. Punishment for the guilty and systematic safeguards are also required. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has described paper leaks as a grave sin and declared that no individual, institution or organized racket playing with the future of students will be spared. The government cancelled the May 3 NEET examination after irregularities were detected. The Ministry of Education filed a written complaint. The CBI even registered a case. A special investigation team, SIT, was constituted and arrests were followed. The then Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan even apologized, accepted moral responsibility and announced the re-examination. The fresh NEET examination was conducted on June 21 and the results were declared on July 16. From 2027, NEET is expected to transition completely to a computer-based format. The physical OMR-based sheet will be replaced by a digital interface, although the academic structure, subject, total marks and marking pattern will remain unchanged. The proposed change is intended to strengthen monitoring, improve transparency, and reduce risk associated with the physical handling of the question papers and answer sheets. The government has also proposed fast-track courts for paper leak cases and stronger penalties under the public examination laws. Proposed amendments provide the imprisonment of up to 10 years and fines reaching 10 crore rupees for serious offences. However, Pranay Kumar argues that protest continued even after the re-examination was conducted and dialogues were initiated. Union Health Minister J.P. Nadda met representatives of the protesters, received their written petition and appealed to them to end the sit-in. Sonam Wangchuk subsequently ended his fast in the presence of Union Minister J.P. Nadda and Jitendra Singh. Yet the protest platform expanded to include demands and slogans that had no connection whatsoever with the NEET or examination reform. The article even points to slogans demanding the restoration of Article 370, In Jammu and Kashmir, the release of Umar Khalid, the so-called liberation of Kashmir, and there were attacks on RSS and Hindutva. There were campaigns against Brahmanism and Manuvad, and there were statements made against the Hindu deities, saints, and the Indian Armed Forces. At the same time, the article by Pranay Kumar reminds readers that paper leaks are not confined to one government or one political parties. Examination controversies have emerged in Rajasthan, West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Punjab, Telangana, Maharashtra, and which state not. During the UPA years too, major examinations including CBSE, engineering entrance test, medical examination, recruitment test were affected by leaks or by irregularities. The next story is an on-ground report from Jantar Mantar titled One Stage, Different Actors, Diverse Agenda, written by Richa Kapoor. What had initially been presented as a student movement against alleged irregularities in NEET appeared to have transformed into a gathering of political organizations, activists, social media influencers, and unrelated pressure groups. According to the report, many teenagers appear to have arrived under the peer pressure or simply to create social media content. Reels, videos, slogans, and online visibility often appeared more important than serious discussions about examination reform. Groups such as Krantikari Yuva Sangathan, Students Federation of India, All India Students Association, and Bhim Army were prominently visible. The National Federation of Indian Women used the platform to demand the immediate implementation of 33% reservation for women in parliament and state assemblies, a demand entirely unrelated to NEET. Congress Seva Dal volunteers were seen distributing waters to participants. Farmers' organization also joined the protest despite acknowledging that they had no direct connection. The report records the presence of Nihang Sikhs carrying swords and performing martial displays close to police personnel. One participant openly threatened violence against the police and others. The report also points to visible contradictions among the protesters. Some participants claimed that the government had refused dialogues. However, they appeared unaware that CJP representatives had already met JP Nadda and submitted their demands. In the opinion-based demeaning democracy, Lieutenant General M.K. Das contrasts two expressions of Bharat's youth. On one side, a young professional at Skyroot Aerospace, whose Vikram 1 orbital rocket represented Bharat's emerging technological and private space capability. And on the other side are protesters at Jantar Mantar, where violence and political mobilization received continuous national attention even after the re-NEET examination had been successfully completed. Das argues that a protest in Delhi does not automatically represent national sentiment. He even warns that the repeated projection of politically driven demonstrations as national sentiment weakens democratic institutions and may create hostile external forces which can exploit. The article Azadi from Scamsters is written by Advocate Amitosh Pareek, Deputy Government Counsel at the Rajasthan High Court. He says that competitive examinations are life-changing opportunities for millions of young Bharatiyas. When organized mafias compromise these examinations, the result is not merely an administrative failure, but a direct attack on social mobility and public trust. The article traces examination irregularities under different governments and political parties. It recalls repeated paper leaks during the Congress-led UPA period and focuses especially on Rajasthan. Moving beyond the cover story, the issue carries an important education analysis titled Panch Shakti for Realizing Potential, written by Vishal D. Pajankar, Associate Professor at NCERT, and Abhishek Kumar, Research Associate at NCERT. The authors argue that Viksit Bharat cannot be built all through economic growth alone. A developed nation requires three forms of capital: social capital, knowledge capital, and civilizational capital. The opinion article Reviving the Gurukul Spirit is written by author and columnist Ravi Kumar Iyer. The article takes readers back to the indigenous education system of the Madras Presidency. An educational survey ordered by Governor Thomas Monro in 1822 documented more than 11,500 schools and around 1,000 institutions of higher learning educating approximately 2 lakh students. The article also underlines the participation of women in ancient Tamil literacy and educational traditions, referring to poets such as Avaiyar and Nakayanappar. The issue also carries an Organizer Bureau report titled Celebrating the Sacred Connect, covering the 30th Sindhu Darshan Yatra, commemorating as the first Sindhu Kumbh. Held in Ladakh, the gathering was conceived not merely as a religious event, but as a celebration of Bharat's civilizational continuity, national unity, Himalayan heritage, and environmental responsibility. The analysis, The Inseparable Bond, is written by Dr. Syed Shahid Ashraf, Fellow at the Prime Minister Museum and Library. The article explains why the Sindhu is more than a geographical river. The words Hindu, Hindustan, and India are all historically connected to the name Sindhu. The river nurtured the Indus Valley civilization, inspired Vedic hymns, supported agriculture and trade, and shaped the natural cultural geography of the subcontinent. The Guru Purnima analysis, The Eternal Bond and Shared Legacy, is written by Professor Chandan Kumar, founder of Buddhonomics. The article explores how Bharat's Guru-Shishya Parampara created an extensive intellectual network across Asia centuries before the development of modern university and student exchange programs. Turning to international affairs, the analysis, The Retreat of the Global Guarantor, is written by Dr Punit Gaur. He is a research fellow at the Indian Council of World Affairs. The United States emerged after the Second World War as the principal guarantor of the international security order. It built alliances, funded institutions, and provided military guarantees to partners across Europe and Asia. This retreat is encouraging allies to seek strategic autonomy and alternative security arrangements, while adversaries increasingly test the boundaries of the existing order. In the news roundup, Organizer Bureau reports that RSS Akhil Bharati Karyakarni member Bhaiyaji Joshi inaugurated the Seva Bharati Prakritik Arogya Kendra in Udaipur. Bhaiyaji Joshi said, Bharatiya naturopathy works on the root causes of disease and should be accepted not merely as an alternative but as a parallel system of medicine. He also emphasized that healthcare system must be adapted to different climates, food habits, cultures and social condition. The issue further reports that around 1800 RSS Swayamsevak rendered their service during the Jagannath Rath Yatra. The responsibilities included sanitation, traffic management, ambulance corridors, drinking water distribution, mobile medical units and assistance to devoted who fell sick. Another report covers the release of 2 books on the RSS at the Vice President's house. Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh released RSS at 100 Ek Sadi Sankalp Ki, authored by Shyam Jajuji, and RSS at 100 A Century Service, Puritan Sacrifice, authored by Anupam Trivedi ji. The Vice President described the RSS Shakha as a workshop of the soul where the energy of youth is shaped into natural character. The issue concludes with a deeply personal tribute titled A Life of Dedication, A Legacy of Trust, remembering senior journalist Shri Alok Goswami ji, who passed away on July 18 at the age of 61. Alok ji served Panch for nearly 3 decades. He joined as a correspondent in October 1996 and later served in several responsibilities, including Bureau Chief, Associate Editor, and for a period Editor as well. He formally retired in September 2025 but continued assisting the publication until January 2026. Colleagues remember him for his extraordinary memory, patience, scholarship, and meticulous commitment to accuracy. His interests ranged from dharma and culture to cinema, music, and foreign affairs. More than his position, it was his trust he earned that became his greatest professional identity. His colleagues believed that once Alok ji had checked a fact or a page, it could be relied upon. The entire Panchajanya and Organizer family pays tribute to the dedicated colleague whose work and conduct left a lasting institutional legacy. This is all in this edition of Organizer This Week. Thank you for watching.